If you had to pick one sentence, or even just a few words to describe yourself, what would you say? How would this description change based on your audience? If it were just something you keep to yourself, or something to be shared amongst friends, family, or co-workers? What about the platform you'd be using? How would the description change if it were in person, on Twitter, or even on Tinder? Now, of course, you'd still be the same person underneath, but the way we express ourselves to others can be entirely different based on context. Take Barack Obama, for example. On Twitter, he's a dad, a husband, a president, and citizen. But if he used Tinder, he might try and woo us with his flirty lines about universal healthcare. These are Barack Obama's digital avatars. Digital avatars are our way of expressing who we are and what our beliefs are with the wider world online. Digital avatars are perhaps the most effective way to communicate with the outside world, but they're not being used to their full advantage. I strongly believe that we need our digital communication skills to match our face-to-face communication skills so that we can become post-digital. I want to talk to you today about how we can change that in order to make the world a better place. With digital being everywhere in our lives, it can sometimes be easy to forget a world without as many wonders. But the reality is, for thousands of years, we didn't have devices in our pockets to message our friends or our family easily and whenever we wanted to. In the past, the only way to contact someone would be face-to-face. That means that humans have had generations to work out how to effectively communicate, from facial cues, tone of voice, to body language. If you wanted to spread some news or information about yourself, you'd have to put in a lot of manual effort or rely strongly on word of mouth. Now, it's easy to speak your mind to the whole world thanks to social media. The average person has nearly 8 social media accounts, and this can help to create distinct personas for different areas of your life, based on your social surroundings. These are digital avatars that can help build up a person. They're our first point of contact with the outside world, the way we share our thoughts, our feelings, and experiences, with anything ranging from articles in The Economist to cute pictures of cats. One of my digital avatars is quite different to all the others. In my day job, I spend my time talking to clients and helping them fix their broken code. But in my spare time, I love doing something that allows me to express myself through dance and art, and keep myself super fit and flexible, all whilst being 10 feet off the ground. Any idea on what it is? Would you have guessed pole dancing? For me, it's that perfect blend of creativity, fun, and sport that really helps push myself to new heights. There's a really strong community of pole dancers online who share inspiring content and teach each other how to develop their skills. But I wouldn't necessarily tell all my work colleagues about it immediately. It's sometimes hard to tell how people might react. So having this avatar segmented from the rest of my life gives me a blanket of safety from those who might not quite understand what I do. In a face-to-face context, some people may feel restricted in expressing certain elements of their personality, but digital can liberate us. Having these avatars gives you the power to express the real you in a safe and controlled manner. We now have platforms to share our thoughts and experiences with others from all over the world and create digital communities for like-minded people. However, whilst it's now easier to share your personas, it's unfortunately becoming easier than ever to lie and create fake avatars too. Hiding behind a mask of anonymity can sometimes bring out a darker, unrestrained version of people's personalities by making it easy to bully and troll others online. For example, recently there's been an increase in fake news powered by what are known as Russian troll factories. This is where large groups of people are hired to spread propaganda and fake news. The people in these factories use their avatars to influence the opinion of the public, often without them even realizing. This can of course have devastating effects to the social, political, and economical worlds. Good or bad, we all have digital avatars existing in our various social, personal, and professional spheres. Although we create these personas, our avatars are the major representations of us in the world, and they shape the people that we are. It's important to represent the best snapshot of you to others via your avatar. In a world where we're physically separated, but digitally more connected than ever, Our avatars are this first point of contact with the outside world. It takes less than 1/100th of a second to make an initial judgment about somebody online. So first impressions really do count. Let's think about this. If somebody only knew you through your digital avatars, would it be an accurate depiction of who you are, of your views, your values, and what you stand for? This is exactly what should happen in a post-digital world, but many of us are still shying away from the self-expression online. If we think about some of the largest businesses in the world, Apple, Tesco, or even Atos, they all have distinct avatars that capture their essence. If brands are doing this, the same principle should apply to people too. And the principle has to apply to people too, because your digital avatars are overtaking your personal brand. Your digital avatars are your personal brand and exactly what people see of you. It's rare that somebody will hear about your achievements in person, so we need to make a conscious effort to voice who we are and voice our achievements online. If you don't put yourself out there, you don't exist in the eyes of many people. So, how do we use our digital avatars to change the world? It's simple. We need to learn how to understand each other. It all starts with communication, and there are two key elements to this. Inward communication, that's things we see or hear, and outward communication, the things we say. In a traditional face-to-face context, this would be listening and speaking. But in a digital era, we have to frame this slightly differently. Digital communication is powered by our digital avatars, and they're fueled by digital content. Online communication is all about the content we consume and the content we share or produce. The first step to good online communication is learning how to listen well digitally. Whilst digital is a fantastic tool for offering social support circles for people with similar views, it's also an incredible opportunity to branch out and engage from others from which we may normally not have had the chance to. It's vital to have an open mind online and listen to the right people in order to expand your knowledge, and in some cases, even change your life. That's exactly what happened to Megan Phelps Roper, an ex-member of the Westboro Baptist Church, a notoriously right-wing church in America with extreme views on homosexuality. The church and those protesting the church would often shout and argue in person, with both sides instinctively expressing their emotions without taking the time to properly understand each other. When she joined Twitter, the 140 character limit left no space for insults, like the shouting matches she had whilst on the picket lines. Megan found that on Twitter, if she did use insults, the conversation would immediately derail from talking about theology into childish arguments. This allowed a conversation filled with genuine curiosity to ensue. How had the other side come to such outrageous views on the world? The two opposing sides started to view each other as human beings, and after taking the time to understand each other, it led her to see the flaws in the church and eventually leave. Our digital avatars aren't set in stone. They can adapt and change with time, and the powers of listening can be transformational. The next step to good online communication is learning how to express ourselves. Our voices have an incredible power. Think back to some of the greatest speeches in history and the impact they had on the world. Digital can give us all the tools we need to do this, but are we really using it to its full advantage? We need to think about the best way to express the physical you through the digital you. Because of the global coronavirus pandemic, there's been a huge rise in us moving our lives online. In the US, there's been a 32% increase in social media use. That's nearly a third more people communicating online. But how many of these people have just been posting pictures of their lockdown banana bread? And how many have been striving for real social justice change? After the tragic murder of George Floyd, thousands took to the streets to protest, but millions took their outrage online. On TikTok, the viral video sharing platform, there were over 12 billion views with the hashtag Black Lives Matter. We have a domino effect with the power of exponential growth online, where one post can be viewed by hundreds of people and hopefully inspire at least a few of them to think from a new point of view and then continue to spread this positive content. This is the power where one move in the right direction can lead to a ripple in positive behaviour. In an ocean of people online, you can sometimes feel like your actions are isolated, but each one of us really has the power to make a difference. A digital world gives us the tools we need to speak online, but a post-digital world should enable people to know that their voices have a great power online. When it comes to making the world a better place, we need to start with making ourselves better people. It's only with our collective individual efforts that real change can start to happen. In a post-digital world, it's not just about being better in person. It's about being better online, because that's what can reach the most people and have the greatest impact. Technology gives us an incredible opportunity to let the digital version of ourselves take the lead. But until our digital avatars learn how to listen and speak to each other, we can't be post-digital. We need to understand the best ways to help each other so that we can become post-digital. Communication is the key to solving many of the biggest challenges we face in society today. We can only start to overcome these challenges once we start understanding each other, empathize with each other, and learning how to effectively communicate to solve the root causes. But making the world a better place doesn't just mean ending income inequality or fixing global warming. Even if your actions improve the life of just one person, that's a fantastic start. As a pole dancer using his avatars online, it's not about how strong I am or how many cool moves I can do. My pole avatar has made me more confident, more assertive, and more social. I can honestly say, I don't think I'd have the power to stand up here and talk to you today if it wasn't for pole. And it's then helped me pass on these traits onto my peers and transform who they are. So, ask yourself again, how do you define yourself? Once your digital avatars can define you, only then will we finally become post-digital.